everybody. Welcome to Star Oracle. Thank you everyone who's subscribed since I posted my first video. That's amazing. Welcome to everyone who's new. I just had a spontaneous desire to make this, well, really to just do one pick a card, and now I'm like, why don't I just do it? So I actually did a better setup this time, so hopefully the cards are gonna be seen easier. And I have a funny DIY setup to do the overhead filming. But yeah, this time I really wanted to focus on the Sun Neptune conjunction. So it's, this Sun in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is currently at 27 degrees of Pisces. And this is the last time this year, this Pisces season. So while the Sun is in Pisces, it's Pisces season. This year and next year are the last two times that the Sun, when it conjuncts Neptune in its yearly conjunction, that it will happen in the sign of Pisces. So that first started happening when Neptune moved into Pisces back in February of 2012. And I just think it's really interesting as well that right now Saturn is in Pisces, and for this last little bit of Neptune getting ready to leave this sign and move into Aries, that Saturn is coming through to kind of, whenever Saturn moves through an area in the chart or a placement, it makes it more real. So it's almost kind of giving this tangible form, which Pisces is intangible in a lot of ways, which can create a lot of confusion between what is real and what is not real. But that's something I've been really thinking about a lot, especially considering, we have this Pisces stellium now. There's a lot of planets here. We're about to have this new moon tomorrow in Pisces. And what does it mean for us when the Sun, which is so much about our identity, our solar selves, comes through to meet Neptune in Pisces, in this sign of dissolving, this place of being able to access oneness, being able to feel into in deep compassion and empathetic states, and kind of have those boundaries dissolved between us and others. And so Neptune rules the sign of Pisces in modern astrology. So there's been this overemphasis since 2012 with Neptunian themes and Pisces themes coming together. And this is the last time we're going to have this in our lives, like this next Pisces season. So not this year, but next Pisces season will be the last time we'll have the Sun and other planets moving through Pisces, making that conjunction to Neptune in that particular zodiac sign. So I really am curious to get messages from this conjunction today for everyone. So I already did a pre-shuffle with these three cards here from the Slow Hauler Tarot, and I'll just show them. So we've got the Eight of Branches, which is the Eight of Wands. That's pile one. And we have the Three of Vessels. So Three of Cups. And then the Architect of Vessels, which is the King of Cups in this deck. So again, thank you for checking out my channel. Feel free to subscribe. I'm going to try and post videos every Sunday if I can manage. And I also started a TikTok with the same name that I'm trying to do just very short, 5-minute or less, one or two card draws on planetary energies. So my goal here is really to get in conversation with the planets specifically. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe and follow me. Okay, but for now, please just decide with your intuition, take a deep breath, whatever card is calling to you. you can follow me at the links to your pile, and I will see you there. Hey, group 1. Y'all chose the 8 of Branches card, which, like I said, is the 8 of Wands in this deck. And in this image, we see kind of this like branch-like figure with all of these hands coming out of it, going in many, many directions. So this card speaks to it speaks a lot to communication, to messages coming through. It's usually fast action. This kind of looks a little bit chaotic. It's like having many different outlets at one time, or places you need to go, people you need to see, all though coming from sort of your central core self, which is interesting because that's like, if we think of the Sun and Neptune, the Sun sort of is that organizing principle of self. So, and Neptune is what creates that sort of confusion or like dissolving into the other. So it's just interesting with this card because I never really usually get that message with the 8 of Branches, but it's funny how this particular card in this deck is sort of matching that idea of like the Sun moving into Sun with Neptune. It's like the self becoming like moving outward and joining with others in a way. And yet it's still emanating here, right? It's still emanating from the core self. So I think that's pretty interesting. I kind of want to start with oracles. I'm going to draw... I already pre-shuffled the decks. I'm going to draw from this Begin deck and then the Starseed Oracle too. So, group 1. What messages does group 1 need from Neptune and the Sun? That's too many cards. Deck is kind of hard to shuffle. Alright, let's try this again. I feel like this card wants to stay. Ah, that seems perfect. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take one from here. Messages does group 1 need from the Sun and Neptune? I love this card. Perfect for Pisces season. Okay. Portal. Wow. Okay, I'll show you the cards here. So you've got Adapt. Whale and Orca Elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. And Portal, doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. Immediately, like these, the combination of these just really resonates with the 8 of Branches and what I was saying before. Like, really that need, I think this is calling that need to be adaptable. The need to, yeah, like be able to have your will, your action, like moving in many directions at the same time. And that this isn't necessarily a time of clear focus or a time to be deep in trying to figure out very detailed oriented plans. It's like really diving into the Neptune quality of more nebulousness, I would say, and following intuition over logic in a big way, which I think also has to do with like our adaptability. It sounds very connected to evolution and to more of our animal nature. And so I think it's cool that we have the whales coming out, the whale and orca elders. And yeah, so this could really be speaking to your voice right now. And this conjunction coming in, offering this moment of really sharing your voice, sharing your songs. I say maybe some of you are singers or creative somehow. This is a great time. Every Pisces season is such a great time for creating. And yeah, like sharing it, but in this way where you don't have a clear direction necessarily of like, I'm sharing this in this specific way so that these people will hear me. It's like really just diving in, like diving deep, like it says, into where the frequency, like actually just being in tune with the frequency of your voice and then letting it go where it needs to go and not being confined to any one direction, and just knowing that those, like whenever I hear frequency, I think of like matching frequencies, especially in sound, and how like strings will resonate and make each other sound if they're near each other, if they're at the same frequency, things like that. So it really is, I think, just pointing to like when you tap into your own frequency, like that's when, like that's your direction. That's your instinctual direction above everything else, essentially. And yeah, portal, doors are opening, you decide rewards, wild card. I love that. It's it is really like Sun Neptune, man. I feel like that is portal energy in itself, especially through Pisces. And this you decide really speaks to the sun too. Like this, that solar energy, it is like the way that, like the things that we want to believe about ourselves, the things that we want to achieve, who we want to be in this world, like really is our own decision in so many different ways. And it's like this balance then between that like intuitive tapping into your own frequency and listening to that, truly being able to access what you understand as your own frequency and letting that guide and kind of create that more structured, like the sun, understanding of who you are, and also actively choosing that and deciding it, because it's very clear that opportunities and doors will be opening because of that. And this, you know, says rewards too. So, and wild card, which feels Uranian. But I want to draw a couple of tarot cards too and see what else wants to come through. So I feel like I want to shuffle these even though I did already. Do we need to know from the Sun and Neptune? What else does group 1 need to know? 7. All right. We've got the 7 of Wands, 7 of Discs or Pentacles, and the Magician. So, the 7 of Discs really is about trusting the seeds that you've already planted. And I think with the Sun Neptune conjunction, there is a way that things can get lost with Neptune energy, and there can be confusion there. And I think like with this other 7 coming out, the 7 of Wands, which so much is about, you know, our uniqueness and bold individuality, really taking a choice and understanding our perspective and sort of deciding what we want to fight for also. Like having these two come together, it feels like that balance between trust and assertion, I guess, which is a theme I feel like that's been very big with Saturn in Pisces as well, of just this need to know when to release control and surrender and trust versus when to assert ourselves and when to build, when to decide that it's time. And because you've had the eight of branches come through, which is like, it is the time, it is the time, it is the time, it is the time, like over and over again. It's almost creating maybe this, could be creating a sense of burnout in a sense, where the 7 of Discs is coming through. And because sometimes Neptune can create that feeling of just like being really tired and being like, just think of a day at the beach. That's kind of, actually, that's a funny like Sun Neptune conjunction thing. It's like a full day at the beach where you've just been like swimming in the salt water all day long and like having the sun like bake you all day at the same time, and like just how exhausting that can be, like how wonderful, but then you're just like, I don't even know what a body is, and I still feel like I'm in the water like all that night. So there can possibly be this like, I don't know, a little bit like hazy, foggy, like tiredness going on because you have so many different ways that you're sharing of yourself, sharing of your song, your voice. And so I think that it could also, in that Neptunian way, Neptune can also create fear and like, yeah, that distrust, like a loss of faith or even disillusionment, things like that. So I think that the Sun Neptune conjunction is kind of speaking to figuring out your balance between when it's time to trust and when it's time to move. And with the Magician coming out after that, I think that's actually a really good sign here, and it totally speaks similar to this portal, you decide, because whenever we have energy like in that fashion, that's like a bouncing between like allowing flow and then well, not even allowing flow. I don't even know if these cards are really speaking to us. More just like trusting the process and wanting to assert ourselves. That is a space that the Magician has kind of conquered, right? There's like a lot of mastery there. I feel like the Magician is not really about control in any way. It's literally just about having understood how to balance those two things. You know, the Magician has all the elements at hand, ready to use, and like knows when to do that. And yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, because of the portal, you decide. It feels like these feel connected in that sense of like making that decision of what doors to go through to actually have your intuition and in place enough that you actually see the doors opening, to actually feel confident enough in allowing yourself the direction that you've set in motion, perhaps a long time ago, to just naturally unfold. And really tuning in to your own natural frequency, whatever that might be for you, is really what's going to get you there. I would highly suggest, if you do any kind of sound healing, or have the capacity to go to a sound bath, or if you can even like look for frequencies, like sound frequencies on YouTube and stuff, to check one out and like try different ones, see what feels really good in your body when you're listening to it, and just maybe like free write, or see what words or music, whatever it is, wants to come through you, by utilizing those tools. And just to like remember, like, you can be adaptable, you can continue moving forward and create action, but at the same time holding trust in the process overall. And to really step back, like really, I think that's why this is coming out so much, because it is reminding you of that brilliance of the Pisces and Neptune energy, which is dream time too. So like making sure you're getting a lot of rest and allowing your dreams to speak to you, because I think that's another way that we understand more about our frequency and where we are at the moment, is through our dreams. And that could really be a support at this time too. Yeah, and like this portal, this could even be speaking to dreams too, like the portal energy with the doors are opening. This is like totally just looks like a dream image. So like maybe pay attention if you have any dreams that involve doors, or like moving through a certain passageway or a gateway or something in a dream. That could be really significant in some way for you. And something that you might want to create around, or just do some writing around, for sure. Yeah, and like this card too, the 8 of Branches, is just making me think like try different things. Again, like this, I like looking at different tarot decks because they're all kind of give me different ideas of what the card could be, and this just feels like there's so many paths to take. There's so many ways to express that you are completely capable of, and this isn't a time like that is how we reach kind of like mastery and focused direction, is through trying, through adapting, through failing, that's funny, I wasn't paying attention to that, but like through failing and through trying again, and just seeing what sticks and what actually feels like you. And that, I think, is a big message of this too. And the sun is, it is that great organizing principle of self. It is our ego. It is just the way that we shine out into the world, and how other people can really see us and recognize us. So yeah, I think those are the messages that I'm seeing through this. So thank you, Pile 1, for watching. And please subscribe if you liked this, or give it a like. And I really hope to see you in another reading. I hope you have a wonderful day and many blessings. Hello, group 2. Y'all chose the 3 of Vessels card. which is the Three of Cups. So we're asking what the Sun-Neptune conjunction has to say to you right now. Group number 2. This card is really about friendship, celebration, about community. It's about being able to have like non-hierarchical connections with others, and the power that can come, and that kind of just ability to see the gifts in one another and let them each shine in their own way as part of a whole. And actually, as I just said that, I'm like, oh, how Sun Neptune. The sun being what illuminates and Neptune being the whole, like, and the way that we are all one. Like, we can be these different parts, but we all exist within the whole. And with no part being more or less than another part. And I feel like, you know, these arms are coming out of the water and holding up these cups. It's like this never-ending flow of inspiration, of just gratitude, of love, of connection. It's very beautiful, and also kind of boundless, and bringing through that Neptunian quality of no boundaries. I was just looking back over some of my notes on the Sun-Neptune Sun-Neptune conjunction, and one thing that really stuck out is this idea of like having Sun-Neptune in a chart can really be almost like, as the sun is a hero's journey of like coming into identity. Part of being Sun-Neptune, or having that aspect, or being in a time period of Sun-Neptune, it's actually part of the process of gaining identity is losing identity and sort of merging into the whole. And I think that's really potent to think about with the Three of Vessels, because it is like really calling forward that energy of the harmony that can exist. And I'm thinking of like the aspect of a trine as well, like with these three, between these three cups, kind of creating that flowing energy between three separate entities, but it's like a non-stop flow between them. Obviously, this is also making me think of Boy Genius, because they all have like a cup, or the Three of Cups tattooed on them. And like, what a beautiful correlation even just to that card, for them to have that on them, of these like three different musicians who have their own unique careers, but then come together to create this like one band that can create such like beautiful harmony together. So anyways, I love them. I had to say that. All right, I'm gonna put that there and get some oracle cards for you. I already pre-shuffled these. This deck is kind of hard for me to get cards from, so bear with me. It's a little bit big. All right, what does group 2 need to hear from Sun and Neptune? What message wants to come through? I think that's it. All right. All right, group 2, y'all got 2 cards from this deck. Okay. Queen and Invocation. And let me pull from here too. Lizard Queen. It's really good. Okay. Message wants to come through. No, these are not. the one that fell on the floor. Okay, I will hold them up so you can see. So we have Queen, number 71. This beautiful lizard queen and these bats flying around her. 3 bats, which is pretty interesting actually, to kind of reflect back that 3 of Cups. And we have number 59 with Invocation. This is already definitely calling forward that Neptune and Pisces energy of devotion. All right. We have Hiraeth, longing for home, homesick for the stars. And it's actually really interesting that this came out, because when I was pre-shuffling the deck, this like flew out onto the ground as well. So there must be something here that really wanted to come through for this group. And deep cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. And weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Let me see if I can. Okay. You know, it's funny because when this card did come out, the Hiraeth card, and fell on the floor, I was like, I saw it, you know, longing for home, and I was like, you are home. Like that's like what I heard right away. And I feel like the energy of this pile is so different. I actually already did the other 2. I don't know why. I just felt like doing pile 3 before doing this one and doing this one last. But I feel like this 3 of Cups, it's like you're already home with your 3 of Cups. Like you're already home with your community, with your people. And that this, you know, I'm not sure if any of us ever fully lose that homesick feeling. That just is part of being a human being and being incarnated, and understanding, having any kind of spiritual, you know, inkling inside of us that reminds us that we came from somewhere that is not here, and that we're, you know, we're far away from that, or we feel far away from that. So I'm not sure if that ever necessarily goes away, but what this is telling me of like you are home is like everything around you is literally part of your home. Like every single person in your life that is a part of your feeling gratitude, your ability to feel gratitude, your ability to feel love and pleasure, your ability to be different in your expression, but be like held as one of the group. Anyone who makes you feel that way, like, is reminding you of this home and is reminding you that you are home. This queen, I love that this queen came out, because I think this does seem to be a big message for this group, is like being able to be differentiated, and yet part of the whole at the same time, and navigating kind of the boundaries of that. And also, like, I don't even want to use the word boundaries necessarily, because I think a part of Neptune Sun aspects is this kind of need to be comfortable in identifying as boundless in some way. It's kind of like there needs to be a way that you understand yourself as this porous being that is always going to be taking in what others around you are feeling, and that's just part of who you are. And so then you navigate the world, knowing that truth and understanding about yourself, and that it's okay and that it's right. And just you being yourself is like, that is creating the boundary that you need. Just you and understanding yourself. To me, that's always like, that's such an alchemical principle too. Like that, just like know thyself. The more we know ourselves, the easier it is to understand where we need to put our bodies at any moment in time. That's really how I feel about it. And with deep cellular healing, I think this is speaking to that a little bit, like, and it being underneath the queen. It's like this queen understands themselves, like knows what is up, knows who's got their back, and who's literally like, are these bats like flying this lizard? I don't even know what's happening in this image, but like to know your family, like to know what is home, where home is allows for this deep cellular healing to happen, and this emotional healing. I just heard the word luxury in my head. So there is something there like that feels an opportunity for luxury when it comes to healing. Like anything that you might consider to be luxurious, but in my mind I'm like, it's not. Like being able to have a quiet moment, to like have a cup of tea with a friend, or like I guess time as luxury is kind of what I'm thinking, or having an extra 5 minutes to like do that breathing exercise that really helps your body feel grounded. Things like that, or it helps your emotions be able to move through. Yeah, or like taking a bath or whatever it is. So this weight of the world card, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. That's so funny, actually. Now I'm like literally reading it like, let go of boundaries. That's not your business, or something like what I was saying, like having to use logic with a Sun Neptune, like the Sun Neptune energy, it kind of just like does not compute in a way around this idea of boundaries. So it's almost like let yourself just like release this thought of like, I have to have these logical boundaries that make sense to me, and understand more that like this is my natural inclination. And I don't even know whoever, and maybe there are people in this pile who you have strong Sun Neptune aspects in your chart, or something, and that's why this is coming through. But even if this just means for this time period when Sun and Neptune are conjunct, maybe this time period, and specifically like this message is just wanting to come through for the end of Pisces season, essentially. That it's a time to kind of like release any kind of like pressure that you've had on yourself, that you have to have boundaries in a very specific way, or that like maybe places where you've had some rigidity, or you're noticing yourself not being as flexible around what you're letting in and out, and you're not actually recognizing how porous you are. And the boundary maybe needs to deal more with just honoring, or focus more on honoring yourself. And then, like I said, like putting yourself in the right situations that honor yourself, versus like trying to create a solid barrier between you and the outside world, and like moving through the outside world into spaces that maybe if you understood yourself more, like you wouldn't be there in the first place. Yeah, because like you know your home, you know your people. And or you will. You will. There's just like a lot of joy coming through these cards, and a lot of just being able to play kind of in the Neptunian waters and play with identity, play with expression, play with the ways you want to have your physical body be seen, you want your emotional world to be like, playing with others. It just feels really uplifting, honestly, but also I'm just like seeing like dolphins like playing in the water, because there is this kind of like holiness to that and this invocation, and maybe with that word this card is saying like you kind of have to set the intention that that's what's going to be. Like I set the intention that when I enter into this space, like these people are going to, like I have loving intentions as I move through this space. Kind of calling in the different like interactions that you want to have with people before you even enter into any place, and kind of knowing like yourself as this more, having this more porous energy. So being aware of that can really tune you in, because you can be such a powerful mirror then for others, because what you're feeling, you understand, is like coming from outside of you very often. And it can go both ways too, because if you're unaware of you as holding that quality, you can also then be someone who would project onto others without necessarily understanding that that's what's happening, which is just a journey in itself. Like it takes time to understand fully what is ours and what isn't ours. And I'm not getting the sense that like from these cards that anything like difficult or negative is coming around that. If anything, it would just be like gaining new insights that would help you learn more about yourself, which is great and positive in itself. I really want to draw a couple of tarot cards too, just to see if anything else wants to come through. So group 2. Sun Neptune conjunction. Do you have anything else to share with group 2? Just gonna leave it there. Okay, we have the Prince of Discs and the Chariot. I'm wondering if I need to cover this. That's so silly. I don't even know, but I'll do it anyways. Okay. Prince of Discs in this deck is the Knight of Discs. And then we've got this Chariot here. So I think it's really cool, like, that these are completely, like, both of these figures are inside of a chariot and have this, like, very forward facing momentum. And these familiars or creatures or assistants who are able to pull the chariot forward. Both of them are holding these kind of round spheres. What is on the top of this one's head? I can't remember. It's like a wing. Oh, it's like a bull's head with wings. On the Knight of Discs, and then this one has the crab on its head, the Cancer. So it feels very like intuitive, like moving intuitively in the material realm. It's funny because I'm almost thinking of these animals pulling it forward as like your pack, you know, like this is my pack and they like know where I need to go and they're here to like support me in that. Just from the other messages that we've gotten from the cards. And yeah, like both of these like are about individuation in a lot of ways. I mean, the Chariot like feels connected to that forward momentum, like it comes after the Lovers, which is number 6, and there's like the pair there, like the couple there. I guess depending on what deck you have, but like it's like that identity of, or like that idea of like two energies, like two separate energies. Sometimes it's about making a choice. There's so many ways to interpret any card, honestly, and I love just looking intuitively at things and pulling in whatever's coming forward. And I'm just thinking about that from moving from the 6 to the 7. And the 7 is like, I've made that choice. Like I know who I am enough that I know the action steps to take forward. And the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Discs, might take those steps like in a more practical way, and be a little bit slower than the other knights. But whatever this knight is doing, it's going to be lasting. So, and maybe that has something to do with creating home, or I just got this sense of like creating home for community or for chosen family, whatever that means to you, but it feels very rooted in material. Like, I don't know if you're like trying to create like the perfect atmosphere or like shared home space with like roommates or with family or something, or maybe you have this like vision for like a community space, something material, even like not even like that. It could even be like wanting to start a group of folks who like you feel that sense of home with, and this knight is like ready to start that journey. And I think the Chariot with it too is like just kind of like they're both echoing each other, and the Chariot is moving by intuition and the Prince of Discs is moving from practicality, which is a really great combination, and speaking also to me to Saturn being in Pisces right now. So that ability to create that long-lasting Saturnian impact within the sign of Pisces, which is just kind of dreams, honestly, like the dreams that we have, the dreams we hold. So bringing a dream to ground. Makes me wonder if like the boundary you want to create is actually just like a home. A home for community, a home for friends, a home for your loves, all of your beloveds. Something physical. It feels very, very magical and dreamy, whatever it is that you are creating. So if this is resonating, please like put a little comment in there and tell me what it is you're building, because I would like to know. And yeah, I feel like there's so much beauty that can be manifested here. And just to remember, like, remembering who you are as this, like, just like, I literally just heard like porous queen, because I was looking at the queen card. Porous queen. Okay, there you are. That's like Neptune, Sun, porous queen energy. You know who your pack is, you know who your people are, and have this vision and are ready to bring your dreams down into the physical in some way. Like I said, even if it's just as small as like, I really want to start this group of these people who like the same thing that I really like, like it doesn't have to be like creating a physical structure, although if that's happening, that's really cool too. Whatever it is, I think you are well on your way to creating some beautiful magic, not just for yourself, but for a whole community of people. Yeah. And I hope you celebrate that. That really feels like it wants to come through too. Like, don't forget to celebrate like every step of that process. Okay, group 2, thank you so much for listening. And if you like this, it's resonating, definitely subscribe and like it, or leave a comment. I would love to hear from anyone. I'm gonna try to post every Sunday if possible, if it's still feeling good for me to do that. And I did start a TikTok too. I don't know. I'm like, did I just put a lot on my plate? Like, this is just kind of a lot. But we'll see what I decide to do here. Regardless, I'm just happy to share your energy, and sending many blessings your way, and enjoy this time period of Sun Neptune, and happy new moon if you're watching this over the new moon. Bye. Hey, group 3. Y'all chose the Architect of Vessels in this deck. And this is the King of Cups. So, yeah, immediately we sort of see this artistry of this bottle, this vessel, with kind of the ocean inside of it, and with a inquiry into what Neptune and the Sun have to say to us. Like, this really fits so well into that archetype, with the Sun being ourself, being this kind of being who we've come to embody in this life. Like, we've chosen to only live this one life, yet contained within us is this entire ocean, and that being Neptune. So I think really what this is speaking to also in that is just how we carry everything inside of us, which is really I just feel like a lot of grief, honestly, like holding this card and feeling into that in itself, and these kind of hands which feel like spirit or the divine really trying to offer protection and offer support. And these roses, I think this is either kelp or aloe. Either one of those plants are so much about offering like a salve or like healing nurturance, and roses, being this kind of beautiful plant that has the thorns, that offers it a boundary and protection. That is so necessary with planets in Pisces, and with anytime a planet comes into contact with Neptune, it really creates this dissolving of boundaries between whatever that planet represents. So it can be really challenging to have Sun Neptune placements in your chart, because it does create this kind of confusion or dissolving between you and other people, between you and the outside world. And I feel like perhaps at this time it's also a dissolving between you and just the immense grief and sorrow in the world right now. And the architect is so much about actually having kind of a mastery over emotions, in many ways. The king of cups, and can sometimes be referenced as being, maybe like not as warm as the queen. But I feel here it's almost like partially because that king knows how to like responsibly hold the emotions and not kind of project them outward, but just like be that container, be that solid container of the emotional depths, not only that exists in them, but also of the collective at the same time. And yeah, so it feels like this mix of that grief, but also like being blessed by ancestors or by the divine, by spirit, even familiars, with these roses as protection, and kind of offering that beautiful aspect of life, and like thinking of how beautiful this vessel is in itself. And also with this skull at the top, like bringing in the archetype of death, and that this architect of vessels or cups like understands that being in this life, being in this human body, also means that this body is going to die and be decomposed into the earth so that something else can be reborn. So there just feels like just a heaviness, but a sincerity to this, which I think is also reminding me just of Saturn and Pisces at this time, with Saturn being that archetype of death too, and what actually gives form. Like when we give form to something, it means that something else has to die also. Yeah, I really want to draw some oracles. So I already shuffled these. These are a little bit tricky to get out, so bear with me, please. So pile number 3. 1, does the Sun Neptune conjunction want to say to you? Oh, okay. We had this card come out in the last group too, this Whale and Orca Elders. I love that. It's like, ooh, they really want to come through for Pisces season, and this is Pisces stellium with the new moon about to happen in the sign. It is like, yes, please. Let's talk about the whales. Okay. Why is this pile making me want to cry so much? All right, I'm going to hold these cards up. We have Whale and Orca Elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Lost lands, soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. And inner earth, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. And then this card, Seed. It really looks like the hands of the architect of vessels. It's powerful. All right, put it down. Wow, I just feel like this pile, you're very tapped in to cycles beyond this lifetime, and just to acknowledge to histories, to emotional histories, emotional paths that you brought into this life carrying. And for a very significant and important reason, which has to do with this seed energy within the hands. I mean, just looking at this architect to the seed, it's like almost as if, okay, now you, I mean, like thinking of the hands coming down and now there's a hand coming up, like this is you, your hand, which is referencing the hands of the divine, coming through to hold this new seed for this moment or for this lifetime that you've come into. And this lost lands, right? Like soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. Like this isn't your first time around. You have a great understanding, and which is maybe why you're holding this like intense, like weighty but matured emotional understanding perhaps of the world, and how it can feel like a lot. It can feel like I don't feel like you experience it as a burden, but just that kind of responsibility, I would say, that comes when you understand certain things that you just can't not understand them, and you can't not move through life knowing that truth for yourself, or those truths for yourself. And yeah, with the whale and orca elders, and then this inner earth, like, I feel like these are the hopeful pieces of this reading really coming through. The whales just wanting to remind you of how significant your voice is, and that you do carry this past frequency of understanding. You carry this knowledge that not everyone has, and a big reason that you hold that has to do with the fact that you're here to seed some kind of significant new beginnings, or to offer new ways of doing things in this world for others. And yeah, I was speaking in the last pile that the whale and orca's elders card, with the frequency of sound, was making me feel like doing any type of sounding or sound healing, or listening to sound frequencies. You can just Google or put on YouTube, search on YouTube. It could be a really good way to like tap into some of the knowledge that you may possess. Maybe it's not necessarily fully understood to you yet. Like, you may have sort of a concept of like, yeah, I've walked this before, or I understand this, but I don't necessarily know, like, I don't know what's inside this seed, you know? And so tapping in through sound could be really powerful at this time, to try to like access some of those hidden memories. And this promise here with the inner earth of you'll survive this, and new solutions and beginnings. And thinking about the conjunction, as I was speaking at the beginning, of how Neptune and the Sun this Pisces season, and then next year the same time, these are the last 2 years, 2 time periods that we're going to get, where these two the Sun is going to be conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces, which is so much about tapping into the universal collective, that like that transpersonal realm where we all sort of become enmeshed, right? And there's that can be really overwhelming and way too much. And then it can also be this way that we are accessing knowledge that we literally like had no idea was even available to us. And that's where these ideas for the new solutions and beginnings could be coming from, is just kind of like being able to tap into that eternal Neptunian flow, into that kind of boundless ocean, but to remember not to like get lost inside of it, and to be able to differentiate yourself and know you are carrying this kind of unique seed within you, and there is a reason for that. And feeling too like maybe you've gotten messages that feel really intense, like around past life memories or from ancestral lines, just like something that's really heavy and difficult to like transmute. And I really feel like there's a message here that like that is going to be like, you are going to be able to release that energy, and to perhaps have like, I don't know if forgiveness is the right word. I think because I don't even know if it's yours. Like, it feels a little bit hazy around who's actually like, whose past you're carrying. So maybe forgiveness isn't the right word. I think it's just release. Like it feels like any kind of energies that you've been carrying that have felt like almost like heavy dark water in a way it's saying you will be able to release those energies, or they will just naturally do so as you continue to tap into your own frequency and understand more deeply what it is you're seeding. And especially, I think, as those seeds begin to mature and grow, I feel like it takes a long time to become the architect of vessels. So whether you're like just beginning that journey or you feel like you've been solidly in it, I think there is kind of a promise here that it's not always going to feel like you are contained in yourself in that like weighted way. But like there are hands holding you, and lightness is going to be available. Like you will understand what it feels like to float in the ocean and not feel like weighted down on the bottom. Yeah, I'm gonna draw just a couple of tarot cards too to see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Anything else for pile 3? From the Sun Neptune conjunction. Oh, I wonder if I have to cover this. Hold on. YouTube. Okay, little stuff. This will work. Alright. Queen of Swords. Yes, okay. I think we need a little bit of that, discerning logic in this pile, that ability to have clear understanding in the mind, with so much water energy and so much unknown, with like having to plant the seed and then we have no idea what it's going to become. It's almost like this seed, you don't even understand what it is that you're planting, but you have a knowing that it's right. And so with the Queen of Swords showing up, I think partly that is telling you like that it's safe to trust that your logic around being kind of illogical is actually the right move. And what else can I say about this? Like, this particular Queen of Swords too is such a like no BS card in like being that mask cutter. Like, she has just completely gotten rid of any pretense about herself and other people, and is unafraid, I think, to see things clearly. And I feel like that exists at an emotional level for this architect of vessels, but maybe not so like in seeing kind of like the external reality and seeing things playing out around you, like it feeling more difficult to access logic when the world feels freaking illogical, to be real. And I feel like that Queen of Swords is just coming in and is like, you can do this. Like, we can look at things from a logical place, and also from our like deeply empathetic and compassionate space as well, from the heart space. And actually, when we have coherence between the heart and the mind, like that is when this seed is going to sprout. That is when it's going to start taking form in these ways that we don't even know what's going to happen, but like that trust is there, and that's when this sort of new beginning is going to become more available. Yeah, I love that. I love that message to come through, especially as we're about to have this new moon. If you're watching this when I'm posting it, the new moon is early this morning, I believe. Tomorrow morning, Eastern time for me. So, although I'm posting this on the new moon, I think. Sorry, I'm filming the day before. So, yeah, wow. And to have the seed card come out as this new moon's gonna come through feels really powerful as well. So no matter when you're watching this, like, it is a really, feels like a significant time for you to be even just trusting in what you've already planted, or trusting that all of the unknown factors and the things that you're trying to create, like, they are going to turn out in your favor, and they are for your highest evolution and for those around you as well. Yeah, and like a new moon in Pisces too, like really using this time to even go a little bit deeper into what these held memories are, even if you're not necessarily using that logic to try to understand, or to try to like get any sort of like clear vision of what it is, but just allowing whatever is coming through to just be what it is. I think maybe that's actually more around what this is. Also with the Queen of Swords and the Architect of Vessels, is like, you can trust what you sense, even if it doesn't make logical sense. So like trusting the emotional impact of things that are coming through, even if on a logical way, you shouldn't be feeling like that intensely, or like you don't believe that you should be having that reaction or something. Because I think as the Architect of Vessels, like, you know how to hold that level of intensity without putting it onto other people. And bringing in this Queen of Swords is kind of like, you can do both. Like, you can hold that and trust it in the realm of logic, and understand that that piece is going to like unfold as time goes on, especially related to whatever this heaviness is around the soul memories and around whether it's past life or ancestral, or just something. It could even be from childhood that is unexplored. I think this Queen of Swords is bringing in that capacity to really bring a sense of fearlessness in seeing the world and in seeing your reality here as it is, while at the same time knowing deeply that like how much our feelings, how much our emotions are continually, sometimes telling us a different story, which is also true. And like how those two are interacting with each other, and like finding that place of congruence between that heart and mind space is like really so much a part. Like, I want to even say that's so much a part of the path that you're on, in this life. Because to hold memory in our DNA, to hold ancestral memory, to hold whatever it is, like, it can, I feel like it must be this confusing state. Neptune, like I've said, is like, can be about confusion, and then that having to do with our identity. Yeah, there's just something there of it being okay and like not needing, like actually not having full clarity on what is true and what is not true, like isn't the important piece. It's like actually fully understanding and being able to honor how the emotions are coming through and honor the truth of what you're seeing around you, like at the same time, like being able to hold both of those things is like what is driving you forward, and what will ultimately birth whatever this is. And perhaps what it is just congruence, right? And like then the power that you can move forward with in life once you have truly been able to hold the paradox of that disconjunct that maybe you've been experiencing. Just take what resonates here. I don't know, this is just kind of what's coming through for me. I think everyone also has different relationships to cards, so if you're getting any other messages for yourself, definitely take them. Take whatever feels right for you at this time. So I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, if you like this, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to try to post every Sunday if it feels right. And like I said, I'm also on TikTok trying to do really short Monday through Friday little planetary conversations. This is really helping me hone my own divination skills, and I'm an astrologer, so working with the planets specifically feels really special to be able to be in more direct conversation with them. So I hope that you like this. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Many blessings.